Hi guys, so I'm going to teach you how to do the power to power property with exponents. So we need to figure out what this rule is. I'm not just going to tell you what it is, I'm going to have you actually figure it out, but I'm going to kind of help you along the way. So I'm working on the handout that you should have picked up from the front, and I'm going to do this first problem with you. I see that I have 3 to the third inside of my parentheses raised to the second power. When I'm writing that expanded form, I know that means I really have 3 to the third times 3 to the third. I have 2 of those because my exponent on the outside was 2. However, that's not all the way expanded. I need to expand the first term of 3 to the third and the second term of 3 to the third. What that really means is 3 to the third is 3 times 3 times 3. I'm taking that base of 3 and multiplying it to itself 3 times. So that's my expanded first term. Now I'm going to expand the second term of 3 to the third, and it's the same thing. Now I'm going to put it in simplest exponential form. So I keep my base of 3, and I'm just going to count how many 3's did I end up with after I expanded it all the way. I ended up with 6 3's. So I have 3 raised to the power of 6. Now I'm going to look down here at this problem. This one is a little bit different because you'll notice that you have a number and a variable. Now this 4, I don't see an exponent in between the 4 and the y, so it's really a 1. Okay, and I know, sorry, that just smeared a little bit. It's 4 to the power of 1 with y to the power of 4th, and it's all being raised to the second. So I actually have 2 of those. I have 4 to the first power and y to the 4th power. Then I have it again. Okay, one more time. That is not simplified or expanded, I'm sorry, all the way. So I'm going to expand this first term. I have 4 to the power of 1, so I have 1 4. Then I have y to the 4th, which is y times y times y times y. Now I'm going to expand the second term, which is actually the same thing. Now to put it in my simplest exponential form, count how many 4's did you have? 2, so I have 4 to the second power. Now count how many y's did you have? You have 8. You memorize your perfect squares and perfect cubes, so you need to simplify. 4 to the second is really an 8. And this would be my final answer in simplest form. You are going to come up with the conclusion. Again, I told you you're going to figure out what the rule is. There is a pattern happening. And you're also going to figure out, does this conclusion apply to addition and subtraction of these expressions? Here's my helpful hint. When doing these problems, notice the relationship between your final exponent, the one that's in your simplest form, and the exponent on the inside of your parentheses and the outside of your parentheses. So right now I want you to pause the video because I want you to complete this entire handout, so this whole entire column. And I want you to expand them all the way, and I want you to write it in simplest form. You are not going to be able to figure out what the rule is or what is happening if you do not do all of those problems. So pause the video, complete all of those problems, and then click play once you've done that. Okay, so if you've started watching this, you didn't just keep watching, you actually pause the video. The conclusion that you draw, you should have found out that my rule is I am multiplying my exponents. Okay, what that means is you are multiplying the exponent on the outside to all of the exponents on the inside. So you're distributing that exponent. So I'm going to look at this problem. I don't even actually have to write it out in expanded form. This x, I know, actually has an exponent of 1, and y has an exponent of 2, and there's a 4 on the outside. So I'm going to multiply those two exponents together. Keep my base of x, 1 times 4 is 4, and keep my base of y, 2 times 4 is 8. Didn't even have to do it in simplest form. So my conclusion, no. We are doing repeated multiplication. That does not work with addition and subtraction. These exponents are repeated multiplication, so it only works for this. So I'm going to come down here and just do 2 more with you. If I'm looking at number 10, I know that my property is from a power to a power, all I do is multiply. So I keep my base of 8. 2 times 4 is 8. So my final answer is 8 to the 8th power. Alright, I'm going to promise I'd do one more. So my next problem I'm going to do is 23. Again, I don't see an exponent by this 3, so I just know there's a 1. And I'm going to distribute the 4 to all of that. So that'd be 3 to the 4th. B, 4 times 4 is 16. And then I still had this B to the 3rd on the outside. But you are not done. Do you have any like terms that you can combine? You do. So I'm going to combine my B's together. The 3 didn't combine with anything. He's all by himself, so I just keep him 3 to the 4th. Now this is a multiplication problem, and we've already learned that in a multiplication problem, you are actually going to add your exponents. So 16 plus 3 gave me 19. That's my final answer. So that's how you do the power to power. Make sure you multiply the exponent on the outside to all of the exponents on the inside.